Welcome to this explainer, where we're diving straight into the absolute mind-bending reality of Chongqing, a place people often call China's 8D city. We're going to explore a metropolis that literally defies conventional geography and, well, basic spatial logic. Seriously, if you've ever felt lost in your own hometown, just wait until you hear what daily navigation looks like over here. Let's get right into it.
Today, we're going to untangle this incredibly complicated maze. We'll kick things off with the illusion of the 8D city, look at the extreme population and terrain, break down the crazy vertical engineering, touch on its deep-rooted culture, and finally, check out the massive social media phenomenon it's become.
Alright, Section 1, the 8D city illusion and how it completely defies expectations.
Just imagine standing on what looks like a busy, totally normal ground-level street square. You're looking at massive highways stretching out, restaurants bustling with people, folks casually walking their electric scooters on the sidewalk. You feel completely grounded. But, as one visitor famously noted, you'd be absolutely wrong. In Chongqing, you could be experiencing all of that while literally standing on the 22nd floor of a colossal structure. The ground right beneath your feet is essentially the roof for dozens of other layers of the city.
And that extreme vertical layering is exactly why it earned the nickname of the 8 City. But they didn't just build it this way for fun. This whole 8D concept means multiple distinct ground levels are stacked directly on top of one another. You might walk out of a building on the first floor onto a busy street, hop in an elevator, go up 15 floors, step out, and bam, you're on a completely different, equally busy street level. It just completely shatters how we map cities in our heads.
Moving on to Section 2, population and mountain terrain, basically a spatial nightmare. The municipality of Chongqing is staggering in size. It's home to a massive 35 million people. Just let that sink in for a second. 35 million residents. That is a higher population than many entire countries, all crammed into this specific municipal region. And when you have a population that immense, your infrastructure has to somehow handle an overwhelming flow of human traffic, housing, and commerce.
But here's the real kicker. You're trying to cram 35 million people into a heavily mountainous terrain that has practically zero flat land. You've got this massive, booming population, but the terrain is completely unforgiving. It's all rugged, steep, mountainous geography. You can't just build wide, sprawling suburbs like you would in a flatter place. When there's no flat land to build out, well, the only possible direction you can go is up and straight through.
So, Section 3, Extreme Vertical Engineering, stretching the limits of what's possible.
Take the famous Raffles building, for example. Because space is at such an absolute premium here, developers needed the capacity of 5 massive buildings, but they only had the ground space for 4. So what was the solution? They built 4 towering vertical skyscrapers side by side and then literally hoisted and laid a 5th skyscraper horizontally right across the top of them. It's this breathtaking workaround born entirely out of extreme space limitations, kind of like a giant architectural puzzle. Or how about the Lisbon monorail station? To save space, engineers routed a massive transit line straight through the middle of a 19-story building. Literally, floors 6 through 8 are the train station. Now, you'd think the noise would be absolutely deafening, right? But they use this advanced noise reduction technology so the folks living directly above the tracks only hear a whisper. And this isn't just some tourist novelty ride. It's the longest and busiest monorail in the world. Routes stretch up to 55 kilometers, trains arrive every 2 minutes, and incredibly, a 10-kilometer ride only costs about 3 yuan. Talk about efficient urban planning.
And all this man-made infrastructure sits right alongside some immense natural wonders. The Yangtze River runs straight through Chongqing. At 6,300 kilometers long, it's the longest river in Asia and the 3rd longest globally. Actually, it's just 300 kilometers shy of the Nile. The sheer natural scale of that river perfectly mirrors the colossal man-made scale of the city towering right above it.
Which brings us to Section 4, the Fog Capital's Culture, Deep-Rooted History.
While human civilization in this area dates back thousands of years, the city actually got its beautifully optimistic name about 900 years ago. A local prince had this massive stroke of luck. He was promoted to king and then to emperor all within a single year. To honor that incredible dual promotion, the city was named Chongqing, which translates to double celebration or double happiness. It is such a beautiful historical contrast to the futuristic skyline we see today.
But everyday life here happens under a permanent atmospheric blanket.
It's totally earned the title of the fog capital of the world because it sits in this mountainous basin right where rivers converge. Heavy mist and low-hanging clouds literally rest directly on the skyscrapers for almost 12 months out of the year. Honestly, you rarely get a perfectly clear day, and that constant fog gives the city this moody, almost cinematic vibe, transforming it at night into a glowing maze of neon lights just piercing right through the mist.
Okay, Section 5, a social media phenomenon. The global boom.
Over the last few years, viral videos showcasing this city's 8D nature have racked up an estimated 600 to 700 million collective views across the internet. Seriously, just a few years ago, this megacity was relatively unknown to the outside world. But once footage of trains driving straight through apartment buildings and bustling 22nd floor street squares hit the internet, it absolutely exploded.
And the real-world impact of going viral like that is an explosive social media tourism industry. Today, dense crowds absolutely pack the multi-level street markets. You'll see dozens of TikTok and WeChat streamers lined up on the bridges, broadcasting live to millions, using 2, sometimes 3 phones all at once. You've got locals and international tourists alike, Americans, Japanese, Koreans dressing up in traditional 3,000-year-old clothing to take photos against this wild, futuristic skyline. Down at the Lisabon station, massive crowds of tourists literally stand there with their mouths wide open, angling their cameras so it looks like they're eating the train as it pops out of the building. It's just a total frenzy of content creation. But here is the really funny thing. While it looks amazing online, actually navigating this viral city is a grueling challenge. Standard GPS apps just completely fail here. A map might tell you your destination is only 1 mile away, but then it estimates a 30-minute walk. Why? Because the GPS simply cannot comprehend massive vertical ascents. It doesn't realize that to go forward just 1 block, you might literally have to climb up 8 to 12 flights of stairs just to hit the right ground level. The city relies so heavily on the z-axis that regular 2D map algorithms basically short-circuit.
So, this leaves us with a truly fascinating question to end on. As our global population continues to skyrocket and available flat land rapidly vanishes, is the complex, vertical, 8D engineering madness of Chongqing just a glimpse into the inevitable future of global urban living? Are all of our future megacities going to look like this? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning the shape of the world around you.